Hello my beautiful Taurians, welcome to my channel. This is Baba Jolie here with a little bonus reading all about you. I've already cleansed your space and have meditated on your cards. For those of you who are returning, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for all your wonderful likes, shares, and subscribes. I am truly grateful for all your beautiful energy. Just a little reminder though, this is a general reading, not a one-to-one reading, just so you're aware. Also, please be mindful, scammers are about, pretending to be me and lots of other tarot readers. I do not do personal readings, and I never reach out to you personally to offer one. Also, I will never ask you for money, e-gifts, or donations. So if anyone masquerading as me asks for anything at all, please report them or ignore them. It is a scam, okay? Let's move straight on with your reading. Now, I will be using guide chimes, so please be mindful to turn down your volume if you are someone who is sensitive to sound. So let us start your reading and let us begin. Okay, my beautiful Taurians, this is a little bonus reading all about you. Us tarot readers, we tend to focus on career, money, love, but we never ask, how are you doing? So this reading is going to tap into what you're moving through at this moment in time and, of course, what lies on the other side. Now, this reading, it may not resonate with everyone, so please don't try to make it fit. This reading tends to be very precise indeed, but I do hope it resonates with someone out there, so let us see what comes out and let us begin. Thank you so much, Spirit Guides, Guardian Angels. Can you please guide my beautiful Taurians? What are they moving through at this moment in time? What do they need to be aware of for their future? Can you please show them the way? The first card there for you is the Tower. So you've been going through a lot of radical change in your life. You've been holding it all together. You may have had some shocks along the way there. This is a radical revamp in your life. As a foundational card, you just feel like something needs to change. Something needs to give right now. You know, this is an energy where you want to be surprised in a positive way. I feel like you've been moving through some challenging times. There's 2 camels on that card, which means you're very resilient. It can indicate they've been powering on through a very changeable or maybe even just an austere environment where things just feel like it's hard right now and you're powering on through. But I do see you've been under a lot of pressure and perhaps you are managing stress levels at this time as well. I feel a lot of you have been going on a journey that has led to a lot of upheaval. That's what's coming through there. Crossing you is the 5 of Swords. You just want peace. You want to find a more balanced environment. You may feel that it's been so challenging. You want things to change so that you can understand where it is that you're at right now. And of course, you know, the 5 of Swords being in the crossing position, it's like you just want it to be fair. You may have been tested, pushed and pulled in many different directions there, and it just seems sometimes that it's one thing after another, and you're just so fed up, so done with that right now. But I feel like you're building something, because there's something on your mind here that is going to help you succeed or work something out here, and I feel like you're in a period of brainstorming in order to revamp your life in some way. And things will come together, especially since we got the Empress here. This is the, you know, earthly bound position. So I feel right now you're learning about your sense of value, nourishing yourself in a different way. Sometimes the Tower can indicate you've been stuck in a rut, going round and round in circles with something or someone, same old conversations, same old situations, and you're like, you know what, I'm done. I just want something new. I want to be bold and daring. And you know, the Tower is a really interesting card because it can be like an epiphany, a realization, a breakthrough, a sudden kind of, I want to say, I want to say change, but it's like a disruption of the norm. I feel that you are a wild card and you're just really aching to return to something real in your life right now. Something real in a world that is kind of like marketed in illusion. Well, the Tower is shattering illusions right now, and I feel like there's an energy of you kind of understanding that somehow you stand out. You don't fit into this. You don't fit into, like, everyday circumstances all the time. You may have felt like that from a very young age. And, I feel there is this energy of you kind of being okay that you are not born to fit in. You were born to stand out. But you also are aware that something needs to change. There's some sort of radically new beginning that maybe you're working towards at this moment in time, or you feel things have been so disruptive. You've been navigating these changes and you're wondering, how are they all going to work out there? Well, in your most predominant energy, you have a Four of Wands right there. So that means celebration. And it means coming home to self, coming home to the people around you, finding your community, finding people who understand you or, seek to see you as you truly are in your authenticity. But also it can be that you are seeing things radically change and you're aware that there is some sort of shift or new era upon us all that you're navigating, and you're finding your truth and standing for what you believe in. Sometimes the Tower can be so authentic in its form that even when you speak your truth, the foundation of you shakes, but you mean it. You mean what you say. So this can be that you're leaning into your life philosophy right now, standing up for what you believe in. I mean, a lot of the collective, no matter how I shuffle these cards, very similar cards are coming out. There's an energy of struggle, of transformation, observing all the minor changes that are creeping in that bring monumental shifts. And it's like, you're working out, am I happy with this? What's going on there? What is it leading to? Am I happy with the changes? Do I need to stand up to the changes? What's going on? So I feel like you're very observant. And I mean, you have, there's the observant card. You've got the King of Swords there, which is to really see things as they truly are. Be honest with your truth. I mean, this is a very authentic card. Okay, it means you're cutting through the stuff in order to be in the flow with your authenticity. But also we've got that Five of Cups there. We've got the Five of Pentacles here. So it tells me that some of you may have felt that you need to have a little bit more clarity. You've lost a sense of something. I mean, it could be that you feel that society has lost its sense of rational thought over the last couple of years, that things seem to have challenged and changed in such a negative way. You may feel exhausted in these changes, bereft, trying to work things out, calculate how you fit into all these things whilst at the same time standing out and being independent and doing your own thing. We've got the Ten of Wands. Yeah, you're exhausted. There's a lot. But this actually means accomplishment. You're so strong in whatever it is that you're doing. You're gathering all the strength to make the changes that you want to see in your life. Now, normally I wouldn't go again, but my guides have asked me to go one more, so I will. We've got the Eight of Pentacles. So the Eight of Pentacles is you holding yourself to high standards, working really hard to make your life work, but also it is routine, structure, and trying to understand what's going on right now, learning, investing in self at this time. So let's bring it back to you, because this reading is about you. It's not about money. It's not about romance. It's not about, things outside of yourself. It's about you at your very core. And the first card is the Tower. You're a very strong person. You're building something. But also I feel there may be an inner battle there with that Tower energy. I feel there's part of you that... Now, don't shoot the messenger when I say this, okay? Because my guides are giving me the sense that perhaps an old part of you is crumbling away. There's something within you that's changed and you're not going back to that. But you are rebuilding the sense of who you are and what you want. So you may feel like you're either outgrowing part of your life or people or situations, or you feel like life right now, you're trying to hold it all together and it feels like different compartments. And, you know, I mean, the Tower, sometimes, if I was to describe a person's traits, sometimes I would say there are moments of feeling like you have it all together, and then moments where you feel like you're a bit of a hot mess, right? Okay, and you may feel like there's changeable energy, like you're trying to work out some sort of structure or consistency. You are someone who is creating a foundation for something right now, and your intentions are pure. You're strategizing, structuring, and you are trying to calculate the best way to live your life. But things outside of yourself crop up, and suddenly there's chaos, or suddenly it's like drama. It finds you, and you're trying to be like hiding from that drama. You're trying to limit your interaction with it. So I feel some of you are kind of motivated to simplify life in some way, or look at your triggers with that Five of Swords. You may be trying to manage intrusive thoughts that threaten to tear you down, for example, take away your confidence or make you feel doubt. And this could be something that's outside of yourself triggering you, and you're trying to understand why it's triggering you so that you can process it and release it in some way and move away from it. Also, the Tower can indicate that, you know, you're in a time of great change within yourself, and that there is a foundational shift at the very core of you as to how you perceive the world that you live in. And you can see so much upheaval and change there, and you're trying to retain a sense of the familiar, but at the same time lean into these changes so that you can adapt in some way. I just feel a lot of you are going like through a major transformative time in your life, and you're being very resilient. You're looking at your energy levels, and I'm being given something else here, but it's almost an energy it's very hard to understand. It's almost like I'm trying to understand the tangible energy of it. It's swirling. It's like just when I get a measure of like, oh, maybe that's it, but no, it kind of goes away. Because I read energy as well as the cards. No, I'll always tell you the truth. I mean, if I can't get it, I can't get it. So maybe it will come. Maybe this is how you're feeling. Maybe you're like you're trying to understand something, and just when you get a measure of something, you're like, I just don't understand anymore. Maybe that's the world, when you just realize what's going on, and then suddenly you're like, well, actually, that's just turned on its head. Why is that happening? I mean, some of you may be looking at the destruction of situations in the world, economies, environments, countries, you know, communities. You may be looking at things that feel like they are not making sense right now, because that Five of Swords, swords are all about the mind. And, you know, this can be that you're trying to make sense of something right now, and it's giving you a bit of a headache. And this doesn't have to be about the world. This can be, you know, a very foundational shift within you. Something has changed within you or in your body or something, and you're trying to get to grips with something within you right now that feels at odds with itself. Perhaps you feel that you're under a lot of pressure, a lot of stress. You may feel like your cortisol levels are super high, giving you tension headaches, or, you know, that you have a lot on your mind right now and you put a lot of pressure on yourself. You're extra critical with yourself, and you're trying to get a lot done right now, and you're trying to understand what it is that you need to do. And you're just like, you know what, I just want peace and quiet. I just want to, you know, breathe. I would say breathe. Because what is meant for you will never pass you by, that's for sure. And I see some great things coming in your future. And I also see that you are managing things. You're diligently moving forward. You are resilient. You're someone who is navigating challenging environments, whether that is, you know, relationships, circumstances, but I feel like you've got what it takes to see it through. And I feel like you're nearly there at a breakthrough. Whoever gets a 10 of Wands, it means, yes, you're exhausted. It means, yes, you have, you know, a lot on right now. You're overcommitted, maybe even burnt out in some way. But it means that you're about to have this breakthrough where you get to this pinnacle of change, or this new beginning, or this transformative energy that sees you elevate, that lifts the burden off there and makes you feel free. So I feel a lot of you have been tested, and you're seeing what you're capable of at this moment in time. Now, it does say here on the Tower energy, upheaval, disaster, and foundational shift. So this is a very core of you. Some of you are trying to protect yourself against this energy. You may feel like you've been in fight or flight mode over the last couple of years, or something within you, or something externally has affected you, where it has shocked you or shaken your foundation, as it were, and it's been on your mind. I mean, I often see the Tower as feeling stuck in a rut where you go round and round in circles. You get into a construct of feeling like this is familiar, I've been there before. So this doesn't have to be like you're comfortable in your life and you're desiring change. This can be that you have the same argument with a partner, if you're with a partner, and you're like, oh, bringing this up again, I can't believe it. Or it can be that, you're dealing with the same problem, meeting the same sort of people who trigger something within you. And, the Tower is you're working really hard to transform and release, to elevate, to liberate yourself from something that just feels destructive or is toxic or keeps you stuck in the same old situation. You have this energy of wanting to be in the flow and release. And the crossing energy is like something is on your mind. So this could be that you're haunted by something from your past, or, it can be that sometimes when you're building something, you get to a pinnacle stage and suddenly you have doubt or fear of success. But the Five of Swords can be tension, conflict. And these two cards, I would say, intrusive thoughts, managing stress levels. I mean, because you have the King of Swords, it means that you are learning to manage intrusive thoughts about different situations, and that you will conquer that so you can feel a little bit more peace of mind there. But the Five of Swords can indicate that there is a need for change, and your body's way of saying you got to change, whatever that shift is. I mean, this could literally be a wake-up call within yourself. If you've been under a lot of stress or pressure, high cortisol levels highlight that the body is trying to, recalibrate or manage the amount of stress you're under, and it's giving you some signals through high cortisol saying, okay, look, you need to be mindful of this. Whenever we get under a lot of pressure, your body is going to give you a measure of what it's doing to your body. Okay? 10 of Wands is a burden energy, the things that you carry with you. So these can be your projects, of course. It can be relationships, but it can also be the things that prey on your mind sometimes, the things that haunt you from the past, trauma, challenges, upsets, disappointments. All of those things can actually make you feel like you're carrying a lot of tension with you. And the Tower can be a wake-up call to be kinder to yourself, or to process something, or nourish yourself. Take a step back. The earthly plane position is the Empress. The Empress knows her sense of value and also recognizes that there is a need to reinvest in self in some way, to replenish with like good food, vitamins, minerals, get out into nature, take a break, to acknowledge that life is more of a marathon rather than a sprint. You don't have to do it all now and feel that pressure that time is ticking. It's about methodically moving towards things that you're building, and you're going to get there wherever there is for you. And there's a lot of success, there's a lot of joy, celebration, but it feels like you're sacrificing a lot right now in order to get to where you want to go, and putting extra pressure upon yourself. Humans in general, with that Death card energy, because you have a near energy with that Death card energy, Death card means change, transition towards something new. Energy doesn't die, it changes forms. So it can indicate that you're in a transition period towards something greater in your life, but you're in that gear shift. And humans can remain in a certain cycle of repeat or a construct that makes us feel bound or stuck in the same place, until such time as we start to feel frustrated or pressurized. And that is a measure of the body saying, okay, we're not happy with this situation anymore. This is literally your inner compass saying something has to change. And I feel like you are working towards this change, whatever it is. And on the other side of that change is celebration, is peace of mind, is elevation, a reinvestment in self, but also an acknowledgement that you're a very strong person, you've come a long way, and that, there is much joy in your future. But, with this card, it's like Five of Swords. If you know the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot, there is a couple of figures on that card. And one of the figures has, some swords in their hand. They have some swords on the ground as well. And there's two figures in the background there as well. Now, if you look really closely, it looks like the same versions of the figures. Now, I didn't realize this before until my guides said, let's reimagine the Five of Swords. And I was like, okay, let's reimagine. And my guides said that it's difficult to outgrow different aspects of self that are not conducive to a healthy progress or to the path that you're on for your future. But outgrow you must. So some of you right now, you're outgrowing parts of yourself in order to embrace a new chapter. And this pressure is the energy you need to change. Sometimes, if we ignore the signs that the universe is sending us regarding having to change either a habit or an acceptance, remember, what we do not change, we accept. And if you've been sent signs and you have kind of like acknowledged the signs but ignored the signs, or found it really hard to implement the signs because we're all doing what we can with the resources that we got. None of us came to this lifetime with a manual of how to do life, right? Many years ago, when I absolutely got to a very high-pressured position in my life, and I'm not talking in a career, I'm talking about life was just a lot. I was dealing with a lot. And there were so many signs like stop, reinvest in yourself, take a pause. This is not the life that is happy. It's not something that is going to make you feel fulfilled, and yet you still persist. And I saw all the signs, and I feel some of you may have noticed some signs. And then I personally, it's not that I felt I was ignoring the signs. It was like I didn't really understand the signs. I was like second guessing the signs, asking for more signs on top of the signs that I was getting. And my guides were, at that time I was running away from my spiritual gifts. My guides were literally holding their head in their hands like, what is this girl doing? And suddenly the tower hit, because if we do not acknowledge where things need to change, we are sent a tower so that we are forced to change. And some of you, you may feel that there have been forces recently in the last couple of years that have forced you to change in some way, and you're trying to gear shift and work this out. I can tell you on the other side of this gear shift, there is so much positivity, so much reward, so much success, and things are infinitely better on the other side of this change, whatever this change is for you. I mean, for some of you, it could be a bodily change because, we've got the Empress there. If you are someone who's going through the menopause, for example, the tower can be like intense hot flushes that like tear you down in a moment. And also there could be some brain fog there with that Five of Swords. For some of you, you just are trying to manage these changes and hope that this change will lead to you being back in the flow, having more clarity of mind, limiting the hot flushes or the triggers. You may be cutting out the triggers of things that intensify the hot flushes. For example, some of you may have been unwell and not connected to the menopause. You may have been looking at bodily changes within yourself and trying to manage, intense flare-ups of whatever it is that you're managing right now. And it's been hard, but you're coming back to your center with this card and trying to value yourself, honor yourself, and kind of like break out of a habit, a routine, or break out of a limiting construct so that you can set yourself free. Because I feel right now that tower is a liberation for you. It feels like you're going to have a more peaceful energy. You're working something out right now. Something's definitely on your mind right now. And I feel with this Empress energy, this is about nourishing yourself in a different way, recognizing that you are beautiful both inside and out, that you are someone who has a lot of value, that you are lovable. You are someone who, has so much kindness, such a beautiful heart. And maybe that tower can indicate that, someone has shocked you, maybe taken advantage of your kindness in some way. But these are things outside of yourself. Let's bring it back to inside of yourself, because when you've got the Empress, it means you're a nurturer. You tend to put a lot of your energy outside of yourself to other people. So you may be feeling the pressure of constantly filling other people's cups and depleting yours. So this is a time where it's time to give back to yourself in some way. And that doesn't mean you're being selfish. You may shock a lot of people in doing it. They may start to overthink what's going on because they have a certain expectation upon you. But at the same time, I feel like you're coming back to yourself in some way just so that you can refill your cup, so that you can have more energy, more clarity. A lot of you, you're in need of some extra hydration there as well. But the Empress energy, this is basically an energy of leaning into love, unconditional love for self, of course, leaning into love with others, the world at large. The world certainly needs more love and more care and devotion, understanding and empathy. And it's a process for that. But this is also, I would say, it's an energy of a lot of you going through so many challenges and sacrificing so much. And you're like, where's the abundance at? Where's the breakthrough for me? When is it going to come through for me? Or when am I going to come through or come up? Or when is it going to feel like it's all coming together? It's all starting to be rewarding. And I feel because you have that Four Wands, these are questions, because Four Wands is all about reward, celebration, it all coming together. You're about to reach a major milestone in your life where you're going to be able to see that, yes, it's all coming together as planned. But as you mature, you'll want different things. You see things in a different way. I mean, also, and this is not going to resonate with all of you, but I have to acknowledge it because it's there. The Empress energy is a maturity card. So it can be that as we grow older, we learn to be more comfortable in our own skin. We start to have more confidence in ourselves rather than overthink ourselves like we did when we were younger. But at the same time, we have new fears. When we're younger, we think we're like invincible in some way, of course. But as we start to get older, we become more careful in our energy, where we spend that energy, certainly where we waste our energy. And we also, with that Five of Swords there and the Death card present, we can also think about our legacy and the nature of transitioning, passing away. So some of you may be looking at your fears right now, especially with the Five of Swords. And I'm not saying everyone is having this on your mind, but there may be moments where an intrusive thought pops in and it makes you feel fearful of death or fearful of, having so much responsibility and burden or responsibility and challenge right now and feeling like you're not living in the moment or that you're missing out on something, or you're like, where's the fun at? Where's the breakthrough? Where's the reward? Is this it? So a lot of you, there's some challenging thoughts going on here. And I would say that, of course, we all think about our legacy, our path, our journey, and, life and death and all of the processes that we will experience as an inevitable. There's one thing in this whole world that is inevitable, and that is change. Everything changes. So with that Death card, it means change, transforming. Energy does not die, and you are energy. As I said, you are this wild card, and a lot of you are looking at authenticity. You're being real with yourself, having real conversations right now, and sometimes that means looking at your worries, your fears, because that's what the Five of Swords ultimately means at its core when it's not reimagined. But the Five of Swords can be that right now, you're under a lot of stress, worry, and you want to come to a position where you feel stable, where you feel comfortable, where you feel that you can lean into something that feels like you're safe, secure, or that you're building for the future. I mean, for some of you, it can also be that you are worried about the next generation. You may be looking at the changes that are going on in the world right now and thinking about what is to come. I mean, the Death card can mean the end of a cycle, a new era. Everything is kind of changing in a way that feels almost like unrecognizable. And you may be kind of, especially if you're a parent, you may be just not overthinking the changes because, of course, you're a parent. You care so much, and that's what puts a lot of extra pressure on you because you care so much. Remember, all that emotion, when we care and like over care as well, it can also put extra overwhelming emotions on top of us. So I feel a lot of you are trying to find balance there. Whether you're a parent or not, I feel a lot of you are kind of just thinking about life, like having big philosophical questions right now about life and your path and your connection to everything that's going on with you right now. And you just want to lean into a little bit more simplicity, more fun, more excitement, more spontaneity. And that's going to happen in your future. I see it because this is your opposing energy right there. There is more celebration. And, you know, I would like to say in a positive way, because you have the Five of Pentacles right now, that you will leave the struggle behind, because the Five of Pentacles is in the resistance position. It's in the past position. And I feel like you're moving towards radical change. You're being nudged in that way. A lot of you are so fed up with all of the changes and having to adapt all the time. And you're feeling depleted and exhausted, because Five of Pentacles indicates deficiency, lack, struggle, disappointment, sadness, sometimes despair, hardship. But that's being left in the past. So I feel like, you know, better times lie ahead for you, but you're going through this change, whatever this change is first, and you're aware that the only way is through. Often when we are presented with an obstacle, a struggle, or a challenge, the only way is through. And I feel like you're halfway there. Okay, because we have that Five of Cups there, the outcome is the Ten of Wands. So yes, it means you're exhausted. Yes, it means you have a lot on. And I feel like you're overloaded with, I was just given sensory information from my guides, 2 words. Okay, so this can mean, of course, the news, the world, the structures. It's all happening. And you are, you know, trying to build some sort of structure within that. Focus on your dreams, your goals, your bills, the people around you, the people you care about, and reinvesting in yourself. And it just feels like it's overwhelming. It feels like it's a lot, and you're doing it all. And I feel that when you're in the middle of challenge, because of course not everyone's going through challenge or hardship, but you have 2 cards here that indicate that you have been through something right now that has either shocked you, shook your foundation, or makes you feel like you're a little bit bereft and asking bigger questions right now. And a lot of your questions are like, does it get better? The answer is yes. 4 Wands, celebration, togetherness, fun, you know, good times with good people, and the magic returns, that spark. A lot of you, that magic returns within yourself first, and then it filters out outside of yourself. But, you know, this is also an energy, you know, Pentacles connect to literal energy, as well as vitamins and minerals. And some of you, especially since we have the Empress, which is about nourishing your body, you know, coming back to your sense of self. This could be that you feel depleted in energy because, yes, you're under a lot of pressure. All of your cards tell me that. So whoever I'm reading for right now and is connecting to this reading, there's a lot going on. But I feel like you're trying to stay on top of minerals. A lot of you have a mineral deficiency there, or a vitamin deficiency, which will come into balance. You will actually discover what that is. And I feel some of you with that Five of Swords there, it could have affected your thoughts. You may have felt very scattered in your thoughts, or a lot of racing thoughts. And there could even be, because Five of Swords can be like negative thoughts. So you may discover that something has been a little bit out of alignment in your body, and it has kind of like triggered a response to release some sort of either hormone or some sort of property there that has overbalanced in one area of your brain, as it were, and made you think a little bit more negatively or been a little more grouchy than usual. Okay, that's something that's coming out that may not resonate with everyone, but you will bring it back into balance, is what I'm seeing. And some of you may even connect to like a practitioner who's very knowledgeable. They're very detached. So let me put it this way. At first, I'm seeing someone, if you're seeking like a healthcare practitioner who can help you with this, I feel like they're just like very honest. They'll make a judgment or an assessment, and they're very analytical, and they're kind of just the facts kind of person, right? They are not someone who is empathy driven. They do care, don't get me wrong, otherwise they wouldn't be in that position, but I feel like they're doing their job to the highest degree, very high standards kind of person, and they are going to be very impartial. They're just going to be like, these are the facts. Okay, but they may refer you to someone who has a lot of empathy, someone who really cares and has a lot of supportive energy, very nurturing, and combined, they will help. So I definitely see that in your future if you are someone who's looking for that at this moment in time, okay? But coming back to you, the Four of Wands is an energy of community. It's about feeling where you kind of fit in. Even though with that Tower, you're born to stand out, I feel like you're searching for soul tribe members or you want connection. A lot of you are like, where is authentic connection? Especially if you feel like your friendships are evolving, changing, or if you are having like a complete radical, because the Tower is a radical change in your life. You may feel that your environments are changing. Maybe things that are local are closing down, for example, or, the environment you once knew has so radically changed and you just feel like you don't fit in it, or friendships are evolving, or circumstances. I feel this is you trying to align with some sort of balance and understand all of these changes and your position in it. But also, the Four of Wands, this is the celebration and the excitement and success that you hope will be occurring in your future. And it is your predominant energy. It's hovering over you right now, but it requires this change. Whatever this change is for you, it's going to be different for everybody. But the Four of Wands, it indicates you've been going through a phase and a transition. And I would say that this is you learning to celebrate yourself a little bit more, maybe even join some sort of community activity or get more involved, more integrated with people, because the Tower can indicate a lot of you have been going through something by yourself, and maybe you haven't been leaning into friendships or basically discussing what you're going through. Some of you may have been keeping quiet on this, but I feel, there are people around you who definitely care. I mean, everyone's going through something, so they may be keeping it to themselves at this moment in time, but with this card, it can indicate that there is a potential to share and acknowledge that whilst you may not be going through the same thing, there is empathy and understanding, because we have the Empress there as an opposing energy. Now, it does say community, home, and celebration. A lot of you with that Tower, you feel something has so radically shifted within yourself that you're trying to come home to yourself, to reignite that spark. That Tower can be like you want more spontaneity in your life. You want things to get fizzy. You want the bubbles. You want the magic. Where is it at? You may feel that there has been a structure and responsibility that is like hovered over you and been so serious over the last couple of years, because this is the thing you feel like you don't have right now. It's the potential position. It feels like this is something you're trying to achieve. It seems like it's so far out of reach right now, but it is obtainable. It is aligning with you at this moment in time. But, with the Death card energy, there's been change, radical shifts, transformations, rebirth. This is an energy of evolution. And I feel that, yes, something within you has changed as you've matured, and you're noticing a lot of, I would say, expiry dates in your life. People who no longer deserve to walk a path with you, people that you're outgrowing, evolving away from, environments, situations, things that you're like, actually, no. I can say the word no and not accept something. This means you're standing up for something or aligning with your truth, because the Death card can indicate you can put a stop to things and change things should you wish. And maybe you're learning that wonderful word no as a full sentence. And, you don't need to explain yourself or make your emotions palatable to other people. You're just honoring and owning your truth at this time. But yes, there is an end of a cycle here for you, and it feels very much like you're not going back to what once was, but the past position, it indicates it wasn't fulfilling anyway, whatever that was for you. And of course, there is worry here. You've got fives, 5 of Cups, 5 of Swords, 5 of Pentacles. So some of you may literally be worrying about finances at this time, but you're going from a 5 of Pentacles to an 8 of Pentacles in your future. So that does mean that, you're working really hard and you're building more wealth, and you will have a stable foundation, but you'll work hard for everything that you earn. Okay, you'll be able to learn how to utilize structures in order to double down on your wealth and maybe compound wealth. But I feel like looking at the energy, there's nothing to worry about in your future. And, with this Death card, I feel there is kind of an acceptance. It feels, especially since you got the Tower, a lot of you may be detoxing or trying to manage stress, changing your approach to life if you've had a wake-up call there. But it doesn't have to be that you had a wake-up call. It can be that you've had an epiphany. Maybe you're changing your mindset. Maybe you are like looking at things from a different perspective at this moment in time, and it kind of sets you free and releases the pressure. You're looking at things from a new angle. You know, when you get the Death card energy, it means something big is ending in your life right now, and it means there's a total revamp of your life. And the Tower, I always see it as being stuck in a rut, going round and round in circles, or almost imprisoned in a construct or a structure that you feel you are outgrowing. You're smashing through ceilings, as it were, setting yourself free. And I feel this Death card energy is a transition of release that brings so much positivity there. And I do have to acknowledge, for some of you, not all of you, okay, this is an energy that I'm feeling coming through. It's about, well, I don't want to say another 5, but I'm being given 5% of you beautiful Taurians out there. You may have experienced a shock in your life. For some of you, you may have witnessed someone's passing, someone close to you. If that's you, I'm sending you a huge hug out there and so much love. I want you to be aware, all of you beautiful Taurians, that this is not something I see in your future, okay? I don't see that, so just be a little bit mindful. This is only if you've gone through this and you've come to this reading, because circumstances outside of yourself in this present moment, the Five of Cups indicates, you know, grieving, sadness, loss. And if that's you, again, I'm sending you so much love out there, and it'll be a process, as you well know, but the Tower can indicate it literally shook your foundations, and it's constantly on your mind, and it's so hard to imagine life moving forward, but you will move forward, and it will be a process. And, you know, I have to be honest with you, they say time is a healer, but actually time helps you manage a wound or, you know, a grieving period. So you know yourself that you're moving through different emotions right now, and it's going to be up and down. And the Four Wands can indicate that it brings certain people together, but at the same time, it also fractures dynamics between people. There may be some conflict there. Five of Swords, people really, you know, when they're hurting, they may say things that they mean or things that they don't mean, and you have to discern which one is which. Okay, so if some of you have had a conflict with a person in the family or in a friendship after a bereavement, I feel like everyone's hurting. And because you have the Empress there, of course, you seek to understand. You're not allowing anyone to overstep a mark or a boundary or disrespect you. But at the same time, I feel like you will come to an understanding of empathy, where sometimes we say things and lash out in hurt. This could have been you as well. You could have done this. I can't see this in the energy. I'm just feeling the energy. I can feel it. So perhaps some of you acknowledge that there's a lot of pain right now. And for some of you, you may be holding back on something that you want to say, but then it's just going to be released. Or it can be that you've had some very coarse words with somebody and you're trying to heal and remove yourself from the energy, and you just feel like it's a lot. You're overwhelmed by the energy. But it doesn't have to be that. It can be that the nature of grief itself is overwhelming, and you're trying to make sense of it, and it feels like something has stopped or changed. Almost like time stood still for some of you out there. And, you know, you've been trying to focus on yourself, but it's like hard. It's like, I can't even put it into words. Got to be honest with you there. With the Chariot card, it's like, how do I move on? You're not moving on. You're managing. You're dealing with, and it will be a process. But I also feel that you're going to get lots of signs and symbols that, you know, you're not alone, that this person, they protect you. They want you to be happy. There is an energy here that's coming through about messages on a staircase or something, or messages as you're walking up the stairs, seeing messages or feeling their sense of them around. That's coming through there strongly. I'm trying to get like a symbol or a sign or a message coming through as a sign or a logo or an emblem. Okay, I'm not really getting much. I'm seeing a gold ring. That's all I am getting right now. It's a gold ring, and I'm being given it symbolically. Commitment, bond, always bonded. always committed to each other, always committed. It doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. This could be family, could be friendship, just bond, relationship, tight. We are in unity. I'm always with you. I'm always around. So with a lot of love and respect, I'm going to remove myself from the energy. That's not going to resonate with everyone, of course, but I had to honor it because it came through. But there is a lot of love there, unconditional love. Even if this person was super complex on the earthly plane, there's just so much overwhelming unconditional love that's being sent here. And yeah, lots of messages coming through, and yeah, they're around and they hear you is what I just heard as well. So I'm just going to remove myself from that energy. Now, moving on to the rest of the energy, of course, the Chariot card is your advice to yourself in this moment. No matter what you're going through, the only way is through. The Chariot card is move forward. You want to advance in life. You don't want to just remain stuck in the same position, whatever position that is. But you may feel that life is very changeable, and you're trying to align your sense of purpose, your willpower, and kind of like reignite that spark. The Chariot card indicates that you're aware there's been an obstacle and that you are trying to like overcome it in some way. I feel this is just about controlling your situation and being determined to overcome this challenging period in your life, and you're going to, okay? And I feel it's important with the turtles that the turtle, of course, has that wonderful protective shell on their back. And I feel this is a need to protect yourself, but also I feel like you are protected. Very important that you recognize that. And I feel with the Chariot card, you know, this can be an energy of rediscovering your passion, your joie de vivre, and focusing on your destiny. I mean, because you have so many change cards here and the Death card is there, which means radical change. This card means like you are driving out the old to embrace the new, as it were. So I feel like you're ready for this change, or you're so like excited about what lies on the other side, because it almost feels like, well, it's got to be better than what it is right now, if that makes sense. Okay, so I feel this is about you being in the flow of something and having everything kind of align together as it should. I do apologize. I hope you can't hear it too loudly, but there's a new dog in the neighborhood. I mean, I say new, but they've been here for quite some time now, and they're struggling to adapt to the environment. So they really are kind of like going for all the other dogs because they feel very threatened. So it's super loud. So I hope it wasn't too loud on your microphone there and that you did hear what I just said. But with the Chariot, coming back to your energy, this is your advice to yourself in this moment, which is like, keep moving, keep on pushing through. But also I feel this is an energy of like you having resources that you're working with and kind of like taking control of your life in some way because you know something needs to change. You're adapting, but I feel there's this energy of, I keep coming back to the same thing. It's like something's got to change. Something's got to give. Okay. And it will. And you're coming through. I mean, there's a lot of success. My guys just asked me to read the card because I didn't. Okay. Self-control, discipline, and success. So yes, I feel like you are showing up for yourself. And I feel like there is a lot of success on the other side. You are having a breakthrough. Circumstances outside of yourself. This is something that you have no control over right now. And that it's hard. It's just hard right now. The world is going through a radical shift. We can all feel it in terms of energy. The actual landscapes are shifting. There's a lot of seismic activity. There's a lot of pressure. The world is grumbling. There's a lot of growing pains. Humanity feels it. We all feel it. It's a major shift. And it is something that is outside of yourself, but you're navigating through these changes and you're doing an awesome job. You know, because we have that King of Swords right here, you know, this indicates that you really are a pro at managing your life. You may not feel like it, but actually you're doing an awesome job. You just need to get clear on what it is you want and set those things in motion and go for it. And you show up for yourself every single day. So be proud of yourself. But, you know, the Five of Cups can indicate that you feel either you've lost a sense of yourself or you feel that you just don't recognize the life that you once knew. And it just feels really hard to navigate your way through these changes when you're like, well, it just doesn't feel the same. So when is it going to feel like something I recognize right now. But I feel like the more you keep moving forward there, the more you discover about yourself, you reconnect, and things start to settle for you, and they feel, I wouldn't say more familiar, I would say they just feel better. When you're on the other side of this change, whatever it is, it's going to feel better. Now, of course, this can indicate that, there's been a lot of disappointing energy around you, and what you need to recognize, especially with this Five of Cups, I mean, if you know the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot, the figure on the Five of Cups is a pictorial image that gives more understanding to what the card means on the traditional Rider-Waite Tarot. That's why I reference it there. So if you don't know what that looks like, look it up online. But there's a figure who's looking over 3 cups that are spilt. Cups that used to be fulfilled. Cups that used to feel like they were enough. But they're spilt now. So either you feel like you've lost a taste for something in your life, or you feel like something is ruined or, disappointing, or it just doesn't hit in the same way anymore. The universe is aligning you with something more, because there are 2 cups behind that figure on that card. Now, I love this card. It's a beautiful card, but the other card highlights what the card actually means, which is, yes, things may be disappointing right now, but everything is about to align for you in the way that you hope for, that you will celebrate, and you will reach a monumental milestone that you'll be truly happy with, where you feel like you come together with people, you come home to yourself. There's an energy of returning to better times here, reunions with either friends or relatives, or, reuniting with a life you once felt was enjoyable. If you're struggling, okay? Because this is a card, I didn't choose the cards for you, my beautiful Taurians. They popped out, so I have to honor the cards as they came out. But this card, I don't hate the Five of Cups. I often see this card as, yeah, things are challenging right now, but the best is yet to come. You can't see it right now, but things are aligning, and things will start to feel more fulfilling in the future. And of course, all the sacrifices that you're making right now, you will not be disappointed in your future. It will be worth it, okay? But as I said, this is the position where circumstances outside of yourself, you're trying to retain some sort of balance in a world that feels unfamiliar to you. Like it feels like it's upside down, perhaps. It says here, loss, grief, and disappointment. And it may feel like everything you turn your hand to right now, it's just a challenge, but I feel like you're going to find your way through. And this period of disappointment, hardship, sadness, I feel with that Five of Pentacles in the past position, it indicates that you're leaving those troubles behind, but it can also indicate you're searching for a missing ingredient in your life that you feel like you don't have right now, and you need to get really clear on what that is with that King of Swords energy. King of Swords is to be calculated, to analyze, and sometimes when we sit with self and we analyze our lives and really lean into our life philosophy, we naturally tend to think about all the things that, and they're very opposing energies. We'll think about all the things that are going wrong, all the things that we feel exhausted by, fed up by, and just disappointed by. And then on the opposite end of the spectrum, we then almost like trigger ourselves out of victim mode. We don't want to be in victim mode, because that Five of Pentacles, sometimes it can mean victim mode. We don't want to be there. You just trigger yourself into thinking about all the things that you're grateful for in this moment. So it's almost like an instant opposing energy where you're like, I'm so grateful for everything that I have, though. It's okay to feel where you are disappointed. It's okay to have feelings where you recognize there's something missing, even though you may have wonderful things in your life that you're so grateful for that other people may not have. It's not a measurable competition between you and others. It's how you feel about your life. So if you feel there is something missing, even though you have some really nice things going on for you right now, but you feel something is hard, it's okay to feel that way. You don't have to instantly kind of like, because I'm just getting this energy of you shocking yourself out of it, going, you know what, it doesn't matter, I'm grateful for what I have. And yes, you are. I see a lot of gratitude here with that Empress energy, but it's okay to acknowledge what you feel you don't have right now, or what is a struggle right now. And I see that things will ease for you. This is a hope and fear position. A lot of you right now you're feeling a little bit maybe detached or on autopilot, or you have this sense of responsibility and it's been hard. So you are maybe rediscovering some feelings here that feel overwhelming. And, I feel, looking at the energy, the fear is being lied to, because this is a card of truth, but you read this card in the resistance position. But also, the fear would be someone else controlling your life. If you don't make a decision, someone will make a decision for you. So this is about standing up for what you believe in, speaking your truth, being authentic in that. But also, this is a card of corruption in this position, so you fear corruption and not being able to do anything about it. But with the Empress energy, this is about you valuing yourself and wanting a better world and a better lifestyle for yourself. So of course, you're going to stand up for what you believe in, and you're going to speak your truth even if your very foundation shakes there. Also, this is an energy of like knowingness, calculating the next steps, as it were, being rational, being clear, being in a position of authority and having the power and autonomy over your own life, sovereignty, as it were. And I feel that you're reclaiming your power in some way. Even through these changes, it feels like you're building towards something that puts you in a position of order out of chaos. If I was to let's put it this way. When I'm going through some stuff in life, okay, I will look at my bedroom and I'll like, oh, there's organized chaos there because I'm going through something. So it'll be an absolute mess, but I can tell you where every single thing is, right? Because there's organized chaos. But I feel you're trying to find order or understanding in a world or an environment that is so changeable right now. And you're trying to make sense of things, because that's what the King of Swords does. It's like, I need to understand what is going on. Why is this happening? So a lot of you on a global scale maybe are trying to analyze why there's a lot of transformation, how things are being reconfigured. Maybe on a personal level as well, you are trying to hold yourself to higher standards and make sure that people respect you and what you believe in and what you stand for. But also, you're trying to be clear about what it is you want and what it is that is a missing ingredient that you feel is somehow so far away from fun, excitement, spontaneity, a part of yourself that perhaps you once were. Because that Five of Cups, it can mean that you lament or grieve a part of life that has changed so immeasurably that you feel, am I ever going to get back to that? I had fun there. So it can be that you're trying to think of a logical way to get back to that position or that place. And I feel like, don't fight the changes, because I feel whatever change this is happening for you. It's not against you. It's setting you free in some way. And, because 8 is the number of the self, I would say a lot of you are coming home to self at this time. You're learning more about what you're capable of. But also, the Ten of Wands, I love this card because it's a card that highlights that the Ten of Wands is also accomplishment. The figure on the Ten of Wands normally carries a heavy load, and everything that you've carried with you is all about your journey. It means something, but there is a period where you're going to get to the place, the destination of where you want to go. And the Ten of Wands is that. Normally, there's like a little house in the background of the Ten of Wands, which means the figure is carrying everything to the house. That's the destination point. You're so close to reaching your goal, to celebrating a win, to having success, but it still seems so far away. But you will get there. So that is a measure of how strong you are. But also it requires a lot of strength to make the changes that you're making in your life right now. And I feel a lot of you, they may have started with quiet changes, but now they're big changes, loud changes. I would say a lot of you are learning to love yourself in a really deep way, value yourself, but also take up more space. Be seen, be heard, be acknowledged, be appreciated. That's what I'm seeing going on here in your reading. It says accomplishment, responsibility, and sometimes burden, of course. When you want to be successful in anything in life, it requires effort, but also it puts you under a lot of pressure because you care. Okay, so it can be that you have been stricter with yourself, more hard on yourself because you care about something and you're trying to accomplish it. And it's hard and it feels like it's a gear shift, but there is going to be change where you have this breakthrough and you get to where you want to go. And the Eight of Pentacles is consistency, pushing on through, showing up for yourself, which you are every single day. So you should be proud of yourself here with this. You know, it actually says here, passion and high standards. I didn't realize, but yeah, I definitely see that you're holding yourself and others to higher standards at this time because you're valuing yourself in a different way. But it also says diligence. So a lot of you seeing these changes, you're diligently pushing on through and managing those. But I want you to be aware that structure, whilst you're breaking free from a limiting structure, I feel like you are being consistent on something that you're committed to, and your dedication will pay off. You know, the Eight of Pentacles indicates that you're a pro at what you're doing, but also you're learning ways to adapt. You're actually a very accomplished person, and that you will reach your goals and develop new ones. You know, you'll be on to the next. And I feel with this Eight of Pentacles energy, it indicates a period of feeling more secure. You're thinking about your future, and a lot of you could actually be reinventing yourself right now so that all these changes you make in this present moment pay off in the future for you, for the people you care about, and for your sense of legacy. And I mean, that is a card of elevation, being protected, powering on through. But I feel a lot of you have been trying to make sense of things. So I'm just going to pull some final cards before I close your reading. We've got the Tower again. I mean, even in a different deck, my beautiful Taurians, I mean, you see me shuffle the cards. I'm not choosing the cards for you. But the Tower, you know, this is your foundation card, of course, and it is like a re-acknowledgement that you got that card for a reason. And it says, by withstanding the coming challenges, your future will be bright. And you've got the star that popped out with it. So the star literally means there is a brighter future to look forward to. It says, seeing things as you want them to be in order to make them become that way. So it's reimagining, reinventing, revamping in some way, because you're building something. And in order to build something the way you want it to be, if it's not that way right now, you have to tear it all down in order to either start again, or you just build on what you have already to make it secure. And also we have the star there. So a lot of you are going through a period of healing. So these two cards can literally mean you've had a shock or a surprise and you're healing from it, and you will get clarity, but also, you know, you will find security in your future. But it says here, the time of your renewal is approaching. By being brave enough to choose the riskier roads, you will inspire those around you, but also inspire yourself. So this could be a period where you're breaking free from a limitation or a structure or a glass ceiling. If people have pigeonholed you into, you know, their little box of expectation, you could be breaking free from their expectations or their control right now. Or perhaps you are noticing that the world is trying to structure things in a certain way where you feel, actually, you know what, I have something to say about that. So you could be leaning into your belief systems regarding that at this time, and, you know, maybe revamping, restructuring, or trying to, you know, really work out what it is you want within these changes, because your voice matters. King of Swords indicates your voice matters. Speak it loud, speak it proud, and speak your truth, okay? So I'm just going to go and get a trinket or a rune before we close. Oh, now there's nothing in there for that to have hurt. That's really random. So someone out there may have hurt this finger here, because I just suddenly felt a finger here, okay, really hurting. Almost like something, like a pinprick or something there really hurt. That was really random. I never feel that. So I'm just going to acknowledge it. May not resonate with everyone, but we have a spider's web there, okay? So spider's web can indicate that you've been caught in something, or you felt trapped in something for some time, or just stuck in something right now. But also this can be that you're looking at things like toxicity in your life to detox, to declutter, in order to revamp your life in some way. But also if you think about the nature of the web, everything is connected. And it can also indicate that you're trying to capture your dreams. You're trying to, build a structure in your life to capture the things that will help you in your future, like money, like opportunity, like connections. And it's the web that you weave. You are the architect of your dreams and your lifestyle. And of course, there's always going to be forces outside of yourself that limit you or try to limit you in that. And I feel like you're trying to break through limitations right now in order to structure the way you see your world, but also structure your world in the way you want it to be in order to elevate in your future, okay? Spiders tend to be good luck as well. Just want you to be aware of that. But I will leave that there. I hope something resonates in this reading for you. I'm sorry that so many of you may be going through a struggle or a transformation that is challenging right now, but I do see that the best is yet to come, okay? So I'll leave it there. Thank you so much, my beautiful Taurians, and love and light.